do your parents say, right? They're thinking they're breeding a professional golfer, and it turns out to be a professional wrestler. I mean, how do you get yourself out of that mess?
Great question. My parents had wonderful parents. Um, did not approve of it. Did not want me to do that. Um, I guess they saw that wrestling was my true, because in order to be a good wrestler or even to make it in the wrestling business, you've got to want to do this when you're a young child, and you got to think about it when you're in bed and think about finishes and wrestling. Like I used to think about wrestling Dusty Rhodes, and Dusty Rhodes would be my pillow, and I would wrestle it every night and put myself to sleep. And I just knew I was going to be a wrestler. So it really didn't matter what my parents thought. When you're young, you think, oh, they don't know what they're talking about anyway. Although they did. They were right, and I was wrong. And I chose wrestling, which was very easy for me because I'd wanted to do that my whole life. And I had the blessing of growing up with Michael Hayes. And then when I wanted to be a wrestler, living with Michael Hayes and having Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy and Buddy Roberts personally teach me. One of Terry Gordy's cousins, Jimmy Powell, wonderful, beautiful guy. Jimmy put a ring up in his backyard, and he kind of got into, we were the same age. And Terry and Buddy Michael in his backyard would teach us how to wrestle. And that's, I went from golf to growing up wanting to be a wrestler to living with Michael Hayes in Atlanta, Georgia, and being taught by him, Terry Gordy and Buddy Roberts at Jimmy Pa's backyard, teaching me hour after hour, beating my ass hour after hour. Which, man, I'm so thankful for that, what they gave to me. But I couldn't have done it without them. I need to shut up. I'm sorry I had to keep running my mouth.
No, you're good. Just keep.
Perfectly good, John. How much did the Freebirds spill into your gimmick? You had a very flamboyant deal in the ring. How much did that inspire your career?
Well, great question again. I wanted to be like Terry Gordy, but that's impossible. So I stole from Terry Gordy, and Terry and Michael and Buddy, they always watched me from the curtain, and I'd come back and they'd tell me shit. And Terry would tell me the most, and Terry would tell me the same thing. And it would be to be more like him. And that was impossible for me. I couldn't be. He wanted me to sell a little bit, but when I came back, or when I got my heat, he wanted me to get more heat and be more powerful. Power bombs, blah, blah, which wasn't possible for me. I wasn't a power guy like him. I wanted to be. I stole a lot of shit from Terry Gordy. And Terry gave me a lot of stuff. Some of the best 45-minute wrestling matches I've had have been with Terry Gordy when I was young. And we would go out and wrestle for 45 minutes. And he would beat my ass and he would make me fight back. And I'm just so thankful for those times. And of course, Michael, I didn't spend as much time with Terry as I did Michael. I grew up with Michael. So Terry was very special to me. Michael was my brother. So I couldn't have been in the wrestling business without either one of those guys. Or Jimmy Powell, who gave up his backyard. And Claire Perry, who Michael was married to, his first wife, that let me move in their home while they were teaching me how to wrestle. Those are things.
John,
Sorry.
why do you think, Mike? I got to ask him while I have him here. Why do you think that Michael Hayes? This is just my opinion as a fan back in those days. How is it that Michael Hayes was never a world champion? I feel that he had everything.
Hey, I can answer that easily.
Okay.
There's a line there. Some guys need a championship, and some guys don't.
Well, he didn't need it. I agree with that.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
You're. I don't know how to come across to your audience so they understand. I know you understand, but there's a fine line there. Anyway.
Do you think that he could have been trusted with the belt? I know that it's all about. There's a lot of things that go into it.
I feel you, and I don't think it was about that.
Okay.
I was more that situation. Actually, both of us. I'm not going to lie. We're both guilty of that. What you're insinuating. Yes. We're both guilty. We both crossed the line too much. Yes. But as far as trusting Michael to have a title, that was not, it was never for 1 second was it ever talked about Michael holding any title. Michael,
fair enough.
Freebirds didn't need a title. They used titles with the Von Erichs, 6-man titles or whatever they would call them. They would use them, but they didn't need them.
True.
Yeah, I love Ric Flair. He didn't need the title, but he made it great. There's exceptions, but for the most part in the business, if you needed a title, the boss is kind of throwing you a crutch, maybe. I don't know if, I don't know if you needed it. I never personally thought about him or thought about, for 1 second, that if I was the champion, I could do better. I could make more money. That never crossed my mind. I always went to work, did what my bosses, because I was young in the business. I didn't come in there knowing everything. I went from being taught to jumped into big time. I did what I was told every night. I was told by Fritz Von Erich, Ken Mantell, Dusty Rhodes. Those are the people that told me what to do every night. I didn't know, they didn't ask me what my ideas were, and I honestly didn't have any. They didn't ask me. I did 100% of what I did was what they told me to do. I never said I want Missy Hyatt to be in the business with me. That never happened. They approached me with it. From day one till the end, did exactly what Ken Mantell, Fritz Von Erich, Jerry Jarrett, what all of them told me to do. I did it.
So, John, let me ask you this, because you said, you grew up thinking about wrestling Dusty Rhodes. So, in a lot of ways, you're a historian. So here you are walking into one of at the time, couple of things I want to cover, Jimmy.
Yeah.
500 level has now improved on the M&P code. Now go to MP30 for 30% off. Jimmy, I got to tell you something, right? I was at the beach again, 500 level. If you guys haven't looked at the shirts, right, go to the website. It's incredible. And I got to be honest, right? So it was a little chilly today. I brought the dogs to the beach. I was off work for the Jewish holidays,
today.
right?
It's cold.
It wasn't cold,
Yeah.
but I have from 500 level, I have a Roman Reigns sweatshirt. Now, usually sweatshirts are not always the nicest fabric, unless I'm into really nice fabric because I just don't like things up against my skin. So usually I'll get thinner type of shirts, but this is a heavy sweatshirt. The fabric, unbelievable. And you're going to get a deal at 30% off, Jimmy. I mean, my God, it's a no-brainer, guys. I am telling you, once you get one shirt from them, you'll get 50. I guarantee it. And they've got all the sports. Yeah, dude, tell me what you think of it, Jimmy.
They're so comfortable. I got to get a long sleeve now. I'm telling you, I got to, because it was chilly today, especially for a guy who's been in Panama City Beach the last 2 years. It was chilly today, and I love the material. It's so silky. Is that the right word for it? I don't know.
No, absolutely. Absolutely, dude.
It's so comfortable. So, yeah, I got to get myself some leveled long sleeves. That's for sure. 30%.
And again,
off,
it doesn't, they got plenty of wrestling stuff. They got baseball stuff. They've got football. They got everything, dude. MMA. They got it all, man. And I'm telling you, it's very high quality. Again, 500 level code MP30, 30% off. So if a t-shirt costs you $20, what's 30% off on $20, dude?
It's enough. 10 plus another 20% tacked on top. Not much. It's a steal. It's a steal.
I agree. I want to remind everybody too, the Monte The Pharaoh show, hit the QR code, be willing to check out our shows on YouTube, where we got almost 24,000 subscribers. Go to our Facebook page where we're approaching 27,000 subscribers. And again, if you feel like donating to the show, please go to the Monte The Pharaoh webpage, hit donate. Helps us bring in more guests. Trying to entertain Jim. We've got the big event coming up, so a lot of good stuff happening right now.